on the News Channel 5 network. This is Inside Politics.
Hello, everyone. I'm News Channel 5's political analyst, Pat Nolan. Welcome to Inside Politics. In the midst of the still ongoing scandal involving House Speaker Glenn Casada on Capitol Hill here in Nashville, we've invited Republican Party Executive Director Michael Sullivan to be our guest on Inside Politics. He'll be joined by former State Representative Debra Maggart. Maggart is a former Republican member of this legislature and currently a highly regarded lobbyist on the Hill. We'll discuss this ongoing controversy and what to look for going forward and what the fallout may be politically for the General Assembly, for Governor Bill Lee, for the Republican supermajority, and for the GOP itself. Thank you both for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Speaker Casada announced on May 21st that he was going to be resigning in the wake of the text message and other related scandals. How and why are we looking that he's not going to leave until August 2nd? Deborah, what's that all about? Why, that doesn't seem to be normal procedure that you announce you're going to resign in May under a cloud, and yet you stick around till at least August 2nd.
Well, I think what Glenn's trying to do is give everyone opportunity to run for Speaker. You know, the way it actually works.
They need help to do that?
Well, it gives everyone an opportunity for the field to form. What I don't think a lot of people realize is the state constitution is clear that the Speaker is the Speaker for a 2-year term. And the only way another person comes along is if the Speaker resigns. And according to the House rules, which is not the Constitution, but according to the House rules, then the Speaker pro tem becomes the Speaker. So what
why isn't that good enough, Michael? Why not just let Bill Dunn continue to be the Speaker on an interim basis if Glenn Casada steps down? That's what the rules say would happen. Does Glenn Casada not want Bill Dunn to be the Speaker?
Oh, I think it has more to do with the fact that there are multiple individuals that have expressed interest to become Speaker of the House. You know, putting Bill Dunn in that position as Speaker for the duration of the summer, where he has the ability to appoint committees, appoint committee chairmen, get rid of committees, deal with summer study committees. That gives a lot of authority to somebody who the caucus may not vote as chairman or as Speaker in the next 6 months.
The Speaker of the House has a lot of other duties that have been put into the law, whether he's on the State Building Commission, lots of other things he does besides just things directly related to the legislature. So, in your mind, the Speaker Casada is not acting arrogantly by staying on, even though the taxpayers have to pay his salary for a job he says he. Well,
the taxpayers, you know, whether he resigns today, tomorrow, or July 5th, or never. Well, but whether he resigns today or tomorrow, there's still going to be a Speaker that they have that is in that position that they have to pay that salary to. So it's not like there's this extra cost for him, whether he's here today, tomorrow, or next week. But could he resign sooner? Yeah. Could he resign later? Yeah.
Should he? Should he leave earlier? Should he leave right now?
I don't think so, but I thought that he should stay because I think that he could have weathered this storm. I think he could have worked to get the confidence back from the caucus. I do know that he is trying to make it a smooth transition, and I also know that members of the caucus want the opportunity to hear from all these different folks that want to run.
So what do you say to those people in the caucus that are saying out loud, and even in the media, that he seems to be holding the speakership hostage so he can either get the person he wants to be his successor in line to do that, somebody who's been one of his allies, or that he's trying to hold on to the seat anyway and just buying time until he can sort of say, okay, enough's enough, I'm going to stay?
Well, I think that's their opinion, and they are certainly have a right to their opinion, but I also think that he's trying to get some things put in place. I don't think that he is going to, I mean, clearly, if he was going to get the person he wanted in place, if he still had that kind of influence, he would they have not kept him? Would they have not had that vote of confidence? I think that's just, unfortunately, there's a lot of factions in our caucus right now that I hope that eventually this will heal and turn out okay. But I don't think that he's doing it for any unseemly reason. I think he's trying to have a smooth transition, and he's trying to get things in order.
Special sessions are not cheap. I've heard estimates anywhere from $25,000 a day to $40,000 a day. That's quite a bit. Is it necessary to have that? Why doesn't he just go ahead and step down? We don't have to have the special session.
Yeah, a lot of that's the internal politics of the House chamber, of whether or not, like I said, you want to have your Speaker pro tem become the Speaker and handle all these committee assignments, these chairmanships and so forth, moving on through the rest of the year until you get into December and the caucus meets and nominates someone new. And the other thing too is you got to remember they're citizen legislators. They've got to go back. They've spent 4 months in Nashville. They got to get back to their districts and do their day jobs as well as continue doing their responsibilities as a representative.
Deborah, in the heat of all this, when the Speaker announced that he was going to step down, Governor Lee said that if he didn't step down by the end of June, he would call the special session by then. The governor, even in this case, Speaker Casada wants him to do that in August. Why isn't the governor sticking to his guns to do that in June?
Well, I haven't talked to the governor about it, but I would think it might be because there's been a lot of conversation with a lot of attorneys. This is just my opinion. Whether there's a special session or not, Bill Dunn automatically becomes the Speaker. So
if he resign, if the Speaker resigns.
Exactly. So, and that's how it's set in the Constitution. And then there's the House rules. And I personally don't think that the House rules actually trump the Constitution. So I think that there's been a lot of conversation about, is a special session even necessary? Because the minute Glenn, at 8:01 on August 2nd, that's what he put in his letter, that he was going to resign at 8 a.m. August 2nd. At 8:01, Bill Dunn is the Speaker according to the House rules. So I don't know what the governor is thinking about there, but that is what I think the actual reality is. There's actually, if we follow the House rules, there's no reason to have a special session. The Constitution says that the Speaker is the Speaker for a 2-year term, and there are 2 or 3 AG opinions that back that up. There's a couple of House clerk rulings through the years that say that. The House rules say, which is a whole separate document, that the House rules say that the Speaker pro tem becomes the Speaker until another election can be held.
Michael, from a party perspective, Speaker Casada is damaged goods politically. How damaging it is to the party to have him continue to stay on through the whole month of June, through the whole month of July, and not leave until August 2nd. At least that's when we think he says he's going to leave.
Well, it certainly isn't. You're right. There's certainly this image problem that Speaker Casada brings with what has happened and what has continued to happen, and that's news coverage and focus on the issue. When we have over 600 elected Republicans across the state that are doing lots of good things, we just saw an announcement come out that Tennessee is the #1 state in small business job growth and small business creation. That's great news, and it's thanks to Republican leadership, Republican policies and principles, and we like to talk about that and want to talk about that, and it's difficult when all of the focus is on a single legislator and the misdeeds of him.
Michael Sullivan is the Executive Director of the State Republican Party. He's joined with Debra Maggart, a former Republican representative and also a lobbyist on the Hill. We're talking about the Casada scandal here in Nashville and across the state. Back to continue our conversation after this break.